Today is Tuesday, April 26th. It's day 65. And the doll is back, baby. Yes. I'm so happy to be back on trail. I feel rested. My body feels good. My mind is clear. I'm focused, but not so focused to where I won't allow myself to have fun. We're definitely still having fun. Definitely still lit. As you know, that's what we do around here. But yeah, I'm super glad to be back on trail. I'm feeling so good. I was starting to get sucked into the vortex, almost not wanting to leave Daleville. Then I was like, are we gonna pay for another night? No, we're not. I don't really know what the plan is exactly for today. So there are shelters at 11 miles, 18 and a half miles, and 25 miles. So we'll just see what we feel like doing. We'll see what the body tells us. And we're just gonna get back to having fun, knocking down miles, and getting closer to Maine one step at a time. I'm sorry for all the background noise. The trail is sort of following a highway right now. But yeah, I'm just really glad to be back out. So I jumped on the phone with my physical therapist last night. He gave me some stretches and exercises to do for my shin. So I'm now incorporating those into my daily routine. And I'm actually glad I spoke to him because those stretches will also probably help prevent shin splints and other common hiker injuries. So yeah, we're feeling really good. And I told y'all that Leapfrog and Batona, they left yesterday and hiked out. I know they didn't go that far because they left around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so I might be able to catch them probably tomorrow or Thursday. And I was sort of texting Gary last night, and he decided to slack pack today. So he's going to be going back to Daleville from about 18 and a half miles out. And I had to tell him, unfortunately, I can't keep spending all my money on shuttle drivers and hotel rooms. So we're hiking out the old-fashioned way today. So let's get it popping. Period. 1/3 of the way done. That's what I like to see. I'm on the AT. Like, can y'all believe it? Over 730 miles. OMGs. Y'all, I absolutely gagged when I put my pack on this morning. Even with a 4-day supply of food, my pack feels significantly lighter, having sent some of my winter gear home and other gear that I wasn't using so much anymore. Like, it makes a big difference Before, with about 4 days of food, 2 liters of water, my pack would be right around 30 pounds, or maybe a pound or two shy of that. But now it feels like my pack is more like 24, 25 pounds. And that makes such a huge difference in how you feel and how your body is able to hold up. So I'm very happy with my decision to send stuff home. And checking the forecast, it looks like it is starting to get more consistently warm. Now we may still have a chilly night or two, but I'm willing to withstand that. And I think I still have enough to keep myself warm in those situations, but my Appalachian Gear Company alpaca fleece hoodie, I really had no use for that anymore. It's becoming too hot to wear it. And when I'm in camp, all I really need is my puffy and my base layer. Same thing goes for my outdoor research down mittens. They were a little heavy and they took up some space, and I only used them maybe 3 times throughout this entire trip so far. So I didn't foresee myself using them anymore, so I sent those home. I sent home my Smart Wool base bottoms because I'm starting to get a little warm at night when I'm sleeping. And I just have my women's tights, which I can sleep in now. And swapped out the 10-degree quilt for my 20-degree Revelation. So all that stuff really made a huge difference. The weight savings is so tea, and I have a lot more space in my pack now, and I had a much easier time packing everything this morning because there was so much extra room. So I am very happy. So it is 11:30 and I've hiked a little more than 7.5 miles so far. The shelter that I was originally planning to stop at today is called Boblitz Gap, and that is 18.5 miles from Daleville. So by 12 o'clock, I will only have about 10 miles left to do today. What was that? So that leaves me plenty of time to do those 10 miles. The next shelter after Boblitz Gap, I can't think of what it's called, but if I decide to keep pushing there, that would make today a 25-mile day. And there's a part of me that wants to do that. I want to get back to really pushing some bigger mile days. Probably not more than like 25 miles a day, but it would be nice to comfortably be able to do 25s again. And that'll help me really feel like I'm moving again and making real progress. Although people say I've been moving pretty fast up the trail as it is, so I don't really need to go any faster. So we'll just see how I feel. Take it one shelter at a time, and I'll just go as far as I feel like my body wants to go today. I'm about 1.5 miles from Wilson Creek Shelter, and there are currently storm clouds passing overhead. There were reports that there could be potential thunderstorms today. It was around a 50% chance when I left Daleville this morning. It doesn't seem to be doing anything right now, so I'm hoping these clouds just sort of pass over. But I think I'm gonna duck into the shelter for maybe 30 minutes or so, eat a little lunch, and just hope these clouds blow by. But I'm pretty much trying to race there with stiff legs because I've been sitting in a hotel room for the past 3 days, achy knees, and I'm having an allergy attack because there's so much pollen. Hopefully, if it does rain, it'll wash some of that pollen out of the air because I'm just sneezing nonstop, blowing my nose, my throat is itching. Like, man, it is tearing me apart today. So it is a little after 1:30. I stopped to take a little break at that shelter, but I was only there for maybe 15-20 minutes. Chatted with some of the other guys that were there, and we're all pushing forward. Boblitz Gap shelter is like 7.5 miles away. So my goal for today is to at least get there. And depending on what time it is and depending on what this weather does, I'll either decide whether I want to stay there or I will keep moving forward. The next shelter after Boblitz Gap, I don't know why I still can't remember what the name of it is, but it's about 13.5 miles away. So either one is really attainable for me today. I just have to decide what I want to do. The forecast does say there are chances of rain and a possible thunderstorm for the next 3-4 hours. But right now, all the clouds are just sort of blowing over. Gary was back at the shelter, and I was wondering when I would run into him today. Unfortunately, we might be reaching that point where it may be time for us to sort of go our separate ways and hike our own hikes, as much as I hate using that term or that phrase. But yeah, I find that my energy just isn't really gelling with his anymore, and I've been feeling this for at least a week or two now. But you know, I'm trying to have a fun, positive experience. I make decisions for myself every day as far as what I want to do, how many miles I want to hike. And I don't know, I hear a lot of complaining. And I'm not the only one who notices. Pretty much everyone notices, and they're all saying something to me about it. And it's just brings down the mood, brings down the vibe. There's so much to complain about, yeah, but hearing it isn't gonna make anyone feel any better. We just kind of have to deal with it, suck it up, find the good things that we enjoy. But pretty much I'm ready to start pushing the miles again, getting back to my 20-mile days consistently. And for Gary, his sweet spot is more around 14 to 16 miles a day. And I noticed that he's been sort of adjusting his plans to try to keep up with me, because I know that he doesn't really want to hike alone. But if you don't want to do 18 to 20 miles a day, and if all you're going to do is complain about it all the time, then don't do 18 to 20 miles a day. You don't have to keep up with me. Make your own plans, set your own pace, do your own thing. So I guess he's just gonna keep spending his money slack packing so that he can do 20-mile days to keep up with me. And I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing because I'm having fun. So yeah, that's all for now. I'm on the Blue Ridge Parkway. Hey! Tons of views, tons of views. Wow, that's pretty. I've never been on the Blue Ridge Parkway before. And I don't even care that it's raining. The views are so stunning. Thank goodness for these litter receptacles. I can get rid of my trash. Always a good thing. Okay, so it's 3 o'clock and Boblitz Gap shelter is just 3 miles away. I think I'm going past that. The next shelter after that is just 9.5 miles away. So we can definitely get there by like 6:30. And I think any rain that was expected today has pretty much passed. So yeah, let's just keep it going because I'm feeling it. What is that, like a turkey vulture or something? I don't know birds like that, but I know somebody who does. She just chilling, waiting for a meal. Okay, I had to get one more shot at this view because honestly, I'm gagging. And this really doesn't do it justice, but look how dramatic. Ugh. Man, why'd that have to happen now? As soon as I hit record. You know, I was thinking about what I was saying a little while ago about possibly having to like part ways from Gary / Rocksteady. It just got me to thinking about, you know, like letting go and moving on from people, because I'm someone who I have a history of, as soon as I sort of meet someone and feel like there's potentially a connection, I would get so attached right away. And as much as I would try to tell myself not to, it would always happen. And the minute that I would get attached, I would immediately feel this fear and anxiety that even though I feel connected to this person and I feel like I want this person to be involved in my life in some way, I am just immediately afraid that the day would potentially come where they would decide that they no longer wanted me to be a part of their life. And that has happened quite a bit, particularly with regards to my past, like, romantic interests. It would be the exact same thing every single time, over and over again. I meet someone, decide maybe I like them and I want them to be involved in my life in a significant way, get attached, then immediately become afraid that they're gonna let go of me one day, and then eventually that happens. And I don't know why I still do that to this day. I don't know where that anxiety comes from. I don't know where that fear comes from. You know, I grew up in a pretty healthy household. Both my parents stayed together, raised me and my brother. I have really good relationships with all my cousins, aunts, uncles. And I can't figure out where that unhealthy habit comes from, because I have caused myself quite a bit of suffering, sort of mourning these people who were never for me in the first place. And I don't know, that's something that I think about. That's something that I work on every single day, because I know that I'm good on my own. I'm independent. I don't need anyone. I don't need to be around anyone. I like doing my own thing. But there's something about when I meet someone and I become attached. And not saying that I became attached to Gary, but I've been feeling sort of this feeling that maybe we would need to separate at some point in time. And I would start to go ahead and make my own plans to do that. And then I would end up like feeling guilty, and I would like sort of change my plans to make sure that we were sticking together. And recently, sticking together has been affecting me mentally. And I don't know. I guess I'm still a work in progress, like all of us are. And maybe I will learn to not get so attached to people. And I'll learn to not feel guilty or scared when I start to see those signs that it's time for us to go our separate ways, rather than trying to hold on to it. And I mean, you can try to hold on to someone or something as much as you want, but when God or the universe or whatever you believe in says that it's time for that thing or that person to go, you better believe whatever it is, it'll get ripped from right under you, whether you're ready for it or not. And you're just gonna have to find or figure out how to pick those pieces back up and keep going, and maybe not make the same mistake the next time. I don't know, it's just something that was sort of on my mind that I just wanted to share. Maybe someone out there can relate to some extent. Attachments, really. Yeah, that's all. So I've just arrived at the turnoff point for Boblitz Gap shelter. The only problem is the shelter is a quarter of a mile off trail, and it's all the way down there. And if I go down there right now, baby, I am not coming back up, at least not today. So I'm gonna take a minute and stand here and decide whether I'm ready to be done for the day or if I'm gonna keep going to Cove Mountain Shelter. That's the one that I couldn't remember all day, which is another like 6 miles from here. And it's only 4 o'clock. So what do we want to do? Well, I didn't make it the 25 miles today, but I did right around 23. And the reason I didn't keep going to the shelter was because I caught up to Leapfrog and Batona. So they decided to stop at this campsite up on the ridge. So I am right here with them. I'm so glad that I caught up to them so soon. I wasn't expecting to see them for maybe another day or two. And yeah, today was a pretty good day. Honestly, my body was feeling really stiff coming off of 3 zeros. So maybe I shouldn't have done 20 plus miles today, but can't take it back now. Maybe I'll ease up tomorrow a little bit, but we'll see what I feel like doing in the morning. So yeah, we're all finished with dinner and hung our bear bags, and we're all in our tents at this point. So I'm gonna get ready to lay down and go to sleep as soon as the sun finishes setting behind me. So I'll see y'all in the morning. Good night. Okay, hello. Today is Wednesday, April 27th, I believe. And it is day 66. It was really windy last night. Got down to about 40 degrees. And when we woke up this morning, it was pretty windy, and it's still pretty windy, which makes it a little chilly, but it's not too bad, and the sun is out, so that's great. It's a beautiful morning. Leapfrog and Batona are just up ahead of me. We've already done about 3 miles today, and in another 7 miles there is a campground that sells burgers and nachos and fries. So we're all pretty excited about that. Definitely gonna be making a stop there for lunch. And then I think we'll be doing a total of about 19, 20 miles today to, I think it's called Thunder Mountain Shelter. I think we've got well, we definitely do have a pretty big climb today to get up to the shelter. And it might be a little steep, but I'm not 100% sure. But I know that it's going to be a challenge, and it's in the second half of the day too. So hopefully lunch gives us the energy we need in order to power through that. And tomorrow we should be reaching Glasgow, Virginia, but we probably won't spend a whole lot of time there. Just do a quick resupply and keep it moving. But yeah, yesterday, I think I maybe did a little more than what my body wanted to do. Coming off of 3 zeros, I probably shouldn't have pushed it the way that I did, but honestly, I'm glad that I did, because I caught up to who I would now consider to be a couple of trail friends, Batona and Leapfrog. And yeah, I popped a couple ibuprofen last night before I went to sleep, and I woke up today feeling like, all right, let's do it again. So we're feeling pretty good. And I'm excited to see what today brings. It's already looking amazing out here, and I'm feeling amazing. And I'm so glad that I have this hat. It definitely just, I don't know, it adds a different type of drip to my looks. I'm feeling it. Let me know if you are. All right, let's hike. Just finished the first little climb of the day. I think that was a little teaser of what's up ahead. But we're 2 miles away from a burger, and I want it now. It's my burger and I want it now. Ooh, so hungry. I could eat a whole farm. Finally made it to Middle Creek Campground, and we are about to indulge in some good food and a couple of good drinks. So, in an unexpected turn of events, Batona, Leapfrog, and I ended up staying here at Middle Creek Campground, and we only did like 10 miles today, and that's all right because we had some good food, some good drinks, and just took a nap and decided to just stay here. Tomorrow we're gonna try to push like a 25-mile day to get into Glasgow. So we're gonna see how that goes. We still have that big climb that we were supposed to do today, and I think the terrain is gonna be a little challenging, but we're still going to try. So I'm gonna head to bed, and I will see you all in the morning. So good night. Good morning. Today is Thursday, April 28th, I believe. It is 10 a.m. and we have just gotten back to The trail, honestly, I can't even explain to you what even happened in the last 24 hours. So yesterday we had this plan of hiking 20 miles up to this Thunder Mountain shelter. And we said, oh, about halfway there, we'll pass this campground that sells food and drinks. So we'll stop there for lunch. So the campground ends up being almost 2 miles off trail. So we pretty much walked there and we got some food, got ourselves a drink and a milkshake, and we thought we were just gonna have a nice lunch and then come back to the trail and finish up the last 10 miles. But the food ended up doing what it does. The drinks ended up doing what they do. The next thing we know, we are passed out on these couches, sleep for like 2 hours. And it went from being 2 o'clock to being 4 o'clock. And then we're like, are we going back to the trail? And long story short, the answer was no. We stayed the night there and got up this morning. Figured since we were there and since they served breakfast, we may as well have breakfast, because today we were gonna have to do a longer day to make up for having a shorter day yesterday. And yeah, it's now 10 o'clock and we just got back to the trail. Ideally, we would like to get to Glasgow today, but that is still 25 miles away. And we have to go all the way up and over this mountain, which we are starting to climb now. So I don't really know how today is gonna go. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm just along for the ride. But yeah, that was crazy how we got sucked into the vortex like that. But it's part of the experience. At least we're having fun. But let's get back to hiking today. This climb today is crazy. We've been going up for like 5 miles already. Still have another 5 miles to get to the peak. Oh boy. All right, so apparently we did not learn our lesson going more than a mile off trail. We decided we want to go see this apple orchard falls. So we're going to walk down the side trail and check it out. So what goes down must come back up. Unfortunately, that side trail to the falls took us a little over a mile back downhill. So we had to climb back up to the AT where we dropped our packs. So we still got another 1.5 miles up to the peak of this mountain with our packs on. So that should be fun. And before I forget, it is time for another land acknowledgement. Thankfully, I have service and I was able to check the native land app, and I saw that I am now walking on, I believe it's Shawandasi, Monacan, and Akanichi lands. And I apologize if I'm mispronouncing any of those. Yeah, let's give thanks to those who stewarded these lands. And let's continue hiking. So it is around 5:30. We are now on the other side of Apple Orchard Mountain, or whatever it's called, starting the very long descent into Glasgow, Virginia. And we definitely are not hitting our 25-mile goal today. In fact, we aren't even really coming close to it. I think by the time we get to camp, we'll just be right around 19, which maybe that is pretty close, but yeah, today has just felt like a very long day. And we knew that it was going to be challenging with that big climb earlier today, and we got out later than what we had hoped. So we will make our way down into Glasgow tomorrow, and we probably won't stick around. Odds are we'll just hit the local grocery store, do a quick resupply, and then keep going. So yeah, we're about 4 miles away from our campsite for tonight. So we are going to try to hurry up and get there because we are all tired and hungry and just ready to not be walking anymore today. Not a bad campsite, if I do say so myself. We've got a nice little view of the sunset here. So we did about 17.5 miles today. And with our little detour to Apple Orchard Falls, that added an extra 2 miles onto the day. So we really hiked 19 miles total. But as far as distance from where we started today, we've only gone about 17. And I'm heading down to the little stream to get some water so I can make dinner. We are a little less than 8 miles away from Glasgow, so we'll make our way in there tomorrow. Today was kind of hard. Hey y'all. Sorry, I sort of ended recording in a hurry yesterday. We got to camp around 7 o'clock, so we only had an hour to, get camp set up and eat dinner and hang our bear bags before it got dark. And once I was in my tent, I just started drifting off. I didn't really feel like recording. But today's Friday, April 29th, and it's day 68. Whew. I'm not feeling the greatest this morning. It's a little chilly again, which is fine, but the aches and pains are really coming on strong. And they just started coming out of the blue yesterday. So, I know I've been having problems with my right shin after losing my balance on that rock a few weeks back. And I feel like I've pretty much nipped that issue in the bud. But then yesterday, I started feeling something in my left shin, which I think could be like the beginning of shin splints. And I've been doing stretches that my physical therapist gave me back when I was resting in Daleville, but I don't know, something's not feeling too right. And I'm like, here we go again, now what? Also, this might be TMI, but my left nipple is becoming sore, I guess from this pack strap rubbing up against it and like this water bottle being right here. And then probably the one that I'm least excited about, the outside corner of my big toe on my left foot is becoming a little painful. And I think this morning I was noticing maybe like a blister starting to grow under it. And I think that it's starting to do that thing again where my toe is hitting the side of the shoe as I walk. So shoe number 3 might be saying bye-bye. I don't know. So we're about 7.5 miles away from Glasgow. And we haven't decided if we're going to stop there for the day or just pop in, do a quick resupply, and then come back out onto trail and keep going. We'll see. I'm just gonna have to push through these discomforts today and figure all this out. Fine. So today is going to be a pretty special day. For those of you who know, or for those of you who have been watching, I have been honoring the life of Nate El Chapo Loftus while I have been on this trail. I was talking to his mom the other day, and she informed me that he finished his hike right around mile 786.6. And she told me that he was very proud of that 0.6. And I'm going to be passing that mile marker today before I get to Glasgow. So this next little stretch of trail, we're pretty much El Chapo's final steps on the AT. Guess who finally showed up? Springtime. And look at these. These are gonna be so pretty when they start to bloom. So we've made it to the James River Footbridge just outside of Glasgow, Virginia. Take a look at this. Now I've seen hikers jumping off of this bridge into the river, but it's definitely not hot enough for that today, so I'm paying it. I said I've seen hikers jumping off the bridge. I didn't say it was allowed. We just got our first hitch into town. How could anyone resist this face? We're in Glasgow, Virginia. I guess it's a town, but it's more like a street with like a couple stores and a restaurant and some other stuff. So we just grabbed some lunch, got a quick resupply. The shelter where we'll be sleeping tonight is across the street behind the restaurant, so that should be an experience. I don't know. And maybe we'll start to make some miles again after today. Who knows?